Oh boy, that was some year, wasn't it? Yeah, I kind of wanted to make this video to talk about something that I wanted to get off my chest for quite a while, and I wanted to get off my chest ready in advance for when 2021 did draw to a close, because let's face it, 2021 was another roller coaster of a year, and on top of 2020, both the past years we've just had hasn't been a lot of fun at all, has it? Throughout those past years, there have been a lot of events we've been through, obviously the COVID pandemic being the biggest one. But yeah, we're all going to be going down in the history books in terms of the events we've been living in, and the fact that, which is pretty a scary thought actually, that give it about 40 years time, and I reckon that children in schools will study this as part of their A-levels and their GCSEs, which I do hope they do actually, because if we do this, if we teach kids about this global health tragedy and other things that have happened in the world during the past couple of years, we can prevent something like the COVID pandemic, and we can also prevent another pandemic from happening ever again. Because in this modern day and age we're living in, a mass virus spreading pandemic should have only been something that was in a Hollywood movie script and not in the real world. And it's a damn shame that this is reality and this is not like some nightmare that we can't wake up from. But with all that being said, I just want to say that after both 2020 and 2021, now that we're in 2022, it's personally for me not good enough at all to just wish or hope that this year will be better. Let's actually make it better. Let's not sit back and watch the world burn or just wait for whatever the hell is going to happen in the world. Let's actually make an international effort, maybe even a universal effort, if there are other life forms out there. But I think pretty much only ourselves on Earth has got something to blame after everything that's just been happening. Yeah, but I do want to say that whatever you can do to make 2022 better, do it. We all have a duty to play. We all have a part to play. We all know that we can make 2022 a better year. We have the ability to, we have the resources to, we have all the tools to, we have the ability to do whatever we can to stop more disasters from happening in the world where people are suffering and people are dying. Oh boy. But I do hope that you all are watching this know the part you can play to make this year far better. And I really hope that we can all work together to make certain stuff from the past. For example, I know that the World Health Organization did say that 2022 is the year we need to end the pandemic, and although that would be nice, but I'm just like, good luck with that, because with certain groups of people I don't think I can see that happening, and I don't even need to name them. I know that probably some of them will end up watching this video, but I don't even want to touch that area, wouldn't stick, because with what I have to say about them, I'll take up a large portion of the video, but I'm not even going to go there. So my thing is that with COVID still being a global health issue, well, thankfully not as much as it was then, for example, when it first kicked off back in March 2020, because that's the other thing. I haven't actually mentioned this a lot, but I was actually affected by COVID really badly before it was considered a global pandemic, and this was when the world started knowing about it in early or mid-January, and I would have to have parts, like electronic parts, that I can't get anywhere else in the world, coming from China. And what was worse about that was some of them were actually coming in from Wuhan, which was the epicenter of where it all began. Although at least because I do know that there was a Chinese scientist that did say she fled the scene of where this virus was solely moulded and created. And speaking of scientists, whenever there is a disaster movie, the scientists are the ones that are being ignored. And when you watch those movies, look where it gets them. So that's another area I don't even want to touch for Wooden Stick, because science saves lives, that's all I'm going to say. And whatever you've got to say about that, I'm not fucking interested, to be quite brutally honest. But I'm going to keep this as short as I can, because I do actually need to get that out there as quick as I can. Because I haven't got that long left to the 1st of January. I did want to get this out earlier today, but I was held back on a lot of things. But whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, I do wish the best for you, and I all hope that you can play your part to make this year much better than what the past couple of years have just thrown at us. I mean, even though, yes, 2022 does sound like 2022, as if it's like 2022 as in the sequel, but some things aren't just meant to be, and eventually I feel like, even though COVID, the pandemic may not necessarily end, because personally I can't see the pandemic ending anytime soon, let alone, oh Jesus, sorry, let me try that one more time. I can't see the COVID pandemic ending at the end of 2022, and I'm like, if you're able to do that, then good luck. It would be nice if it did end in 2022, but I do feel at some point in 2022 that it will get to the point where we are actually able to live with COVID, because it will get to that point where it's going to be something that we all are going to have to do, thanks to, because the way we can, like for example, I know that a lot of people don't like masks and social distancing. Masks, I guess I'm okay with, but it's the social distancing aspect was so called so. I don't even know why they call that, because when you're still apart from each other, you can still talk to each other. Physical distancing makes so much more sense. But in terms of other restrictions than masks, like for example limited capacities and social distancing, from my personal experience, both of those create an absolutely toxic and unpleasant environment where it feels like they give people this power to speak to you and treat you in the way that they want to. And I should know, because I have been to 1 or 2 events where this was in place. I've been screamed at, even though I haven't necessarily done anything. I have literally just stood still in a position wearing a mask. And I just, for some reason, if like anyone comes near me, I'm the one that's getting fucking screamed at. And the worst part is, people just can't, no one there is like, hang on, you can't be talking to teams or people this way, you just can't be yelling at people in general, you can't be screaming at people this way. But no, they just feel like they have this power, or the authority, as Eric Cartman would say, to treat people, talk to people, and just handle people in the way that they please. But speaking of which, I do feel that all of these viruses, for example, that we have been a part of our lives, for example like the flu and norovirus and other viruses that have came into our lives, we've all learned to live them without restricting, without distancing from each other, without having to wear a mask. And eventually it will get to that point where it will be the same with COVID, thanks to stuff like annual vaccination, antiviral drug treatment, and as well as those two, probably multivitamins, which I will admit I have been taking a lot of them since, well I wouldn't say a lot, just the recommended daily intake, so which is pretty much a lot I would say. But yeah, I don't want to get myself into any more trouble than this video will probably get me, because I hope that some of the stuff I've just said doesn't come across as the wrong way to some of the people that do end up watching this. I have been very careful about what I have been trying to say, or what I am trying to say, but the reality for me is this, that COVID is going to be with us for a very long time, but we can stop it from being a global health issue as it currently is, because we've seen evidence that vaccination is preventing variants from mutating, is preventing the virus from mutating in general, and it's preventing variants from being created. That was also research from somebody who actually develops the Moderna vaccine, but I won't bring their name into them for their sake, in case the anti-vaxxers do come after them. But for me, I feel like that it will get to that point where we will eventually learn, and we will not so much learn, but actually be able to live with COVID. If it doesn't mean people are suffering or dying or hospitalised, because it will eventually get to that point. Because if I'm being brutally honest, I do feel that COVID is going to stop being a global health issue until it takes out those who are the most vulnerable to the virus, those who are pretty much, I'm just trying to think what it was that I was going to say. I'm not, yeah, so that's another thing I had to list up. I'm not going to touch wooden stick. Darwin's Awards, which that's what I was looking for. Natural selection as well, pretty much. So it'll be interesting to see what 2022 does throw at us, and I'm not going to save any more to save my sanity, my dignity, and pretty much my reputation, because some of the stuff that I may have said may come across wrong to some of them, but I just want to say that whatever it is, please, for the love of God, don't take anything I said out of context. Don't try and cancel me on Twitter or whatever it is, because I literally can't deal with that shit, and it's just too bad. It will send me into a fucking deep mental state if something like that were to happen. And it's quite late at night, and I did try drink a lot of caffeine before I do, which probably isn't very good. But I'm saving my sanity right here, so thank you for watching this video, if indeed you did. And see you with whatever the hell I will be throwing at this channel next, because I do want to do more stuff with this channel, but I haven't exactly decided what yet, but maybe just some random stuff that I get up to in my personal life, and maybe other places that I do end up visiting. So thank you for watching, and see you later.